What's going down, everybody? Today I'm displaying some of the systems that I own, and this video is a little bit long. It has some of the backstory on some of the systems that I've owned and how I got them, the deals and things that I got on them. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So first things first, everybody, we gonna start off with my Nintendo set. The things that I bought from Nintendo over the years. I used to have a Super Nintendo, but unfortunately I lost it. Yes, I literally lost an entire console system. I have no idea what happened to it. But these are what I still have left. So the first thing I ever had from Nintendo besides the Super Nintendo was my Game Boy Advance. Now this Game Boy Advance, let me tell you, I rocked this thing like it was no tomorrow. Everywhere I went, I made sure that I had it with me. I had the little pack that it came in, had the games and everything. And actually, a few minutes ago, I turned it on. I put some batteries in there and I turned it on. The screen is terrible. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know how we did it back in the day, even though we put like the little light on the top, but the screen for this thing is completely terrible. Like, it's dark, you can't see nothing. But back in the day, it was definitely dope. So besides that, besides the Game Boy Advance, I never got into the Game Boy SP and then the other ones that they made after that. Basically, I went straight for the 3DS. So as you can see, there's something on here my son was playing. This was the last, well, not the last Game Boy that they made, but close to one of the last ones. Now they have the 2DS because they realized that the 3D part was hurting people's eyes. That's why when my son is playing it, I always tell him to turn that part off because it's just not that good. It looks 3D, it looks cool, but it's very bad for your eyes. Above that, we have, of course, Nintendo's newest system, the Nintendo Switch. Now, the Switch is pretty much a handheld and a console when you put it inside the dock, which means, of course, you can play it on your TV and everything else. I have a video on the first Switch that I had, this is my second Switch. My first Switch that I had to take back because it started to warp. And I waited a long time, which was about almost exactly a year, before I said, okay, I'll get another one. It seems that these are better. They're not warping or overheating or anything like that. So it's been going pretty good with the Switch this time around. After that, we got one of my favorite Nintendo systems. I mean, besides the Switch right now, is the Nintendo GameCube. Now, this GameCube here is the purple version, which was the purple one that came out with Super Mario Sunshine. So I got Sunshine still inside there. That came with it. It was one of the bundle sets. I'm one of those people that usually I won't buy a system when it first comes out. I'll always wait for them to have some sort of bundle or some sort of deal so that I can get another game with it. But this one I really liked because it was the purple one and it came with the game. I also have a few accessories on here. If you see, I have the little Wavebird thing, which was the Nintendo wireless controller, which actually even till this day is like one of the best wireless controllers. And it's not even Bluetooth. It's just radio control, which was pretty cool. On the bottom, I have what is this here? It's the Game Boy Player, where it allowed you to play your Game Boy Advance games on the GameCube. As you can see, it was better playing it on the GameCube because, as we all know, like I just said, the Game Boy Advance screen sucked. And I had Astro Boy in there, and Astro Boy, even now, is still a really, really good game. So sometime I fire that up and play it, and try to see what I can get going with that besides Zelda and Sunshine and Wind Waker and all of the other games. Moving along, we have the Nintendo 64. which I've noticed that nowadays a lot of people have been trying to look for Nintendo 64s. I don't know if it's just a lot of people trying to collect them nowadays, but they've been on the market lately, and you go to a lot of places, like, it's not too many retro video game places. Basically, GameStop dominates everything. But when you do go to some of the retro places, people actually go in there and they buy N64s now. Now, this 64 is, as you notice, it's just the gray one, but it was the Star Wars Racer Edition N64. So, as I just said, I always wait for the bundles. I waited, I think it was maybe a year or so before I waited to get one, and it came out with the Star Wars Racer, and I got the, what was this called? This was that, like, the RAM thing that you could add to it. It was like the expansion RAM that you would add to the 64 so that you could get all of the power that the system had. So when you put this in and you played Star Wars Racer, you got the graphics were pumped up a little bit. Wasn't that much, but for its time, it looked amazing. I didn't buy the Nintendo one because the Nintendo one was too expensive, so I got the, what was this, Pelican accessories, and it worked out just fine. It also worked well with, what was that game? Donkey Kong Country or Donkey Kong something. But you use this for that, and it worked out perfectly. So that's basically all of my Nintendo products that I still have left. Like I said, rest in peace to my Super Nintendo. I wish I knew what happened to it. Actually, I still have Dracula X for Super Nintendo. I still got the cartridge, but I completely lost the system, and I think I lost the system with Link to the Past inside it. So I never got to actually finish that. And that's all my Nintendo stuff. And now let's move on to the PlayStation stuff. So now we move on to the PlayStation, Sony, PlayStation 1. Sorry, not PlayStation 1, because I had a PlayStation 1, which was probably one of the systems where I've had the most fun. I mean, I basically let that rock until the CD popped, because that's where I first played Metal Gear Solid, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 1, Oddworld, Abe's Exodus. Well, not Abe's Exodus, because that was on, I think that was on Xbox, but Oddworld Adventures, Crash Bandicoot, you name it, I played it on there. I don't have that one here because I left that at an old apartment years back. And I figured, you know what? The PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 2, they both play PlayStation 1 games, so I don't need to have a PlayStation 1. Now, unfortunately, to reasons that are unbeknownst to me, the PlayStation 4, over here, the PlayStation 4, the Drake Edition, for some reason the PlayStation 4 does not play PlayStation 1 games. And now, I didn't try any PlayStation 1 games on there, but what was I doing? I knew it was region free because you could play American and Japanese games. So years after I got this system, I think it was about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, I got it. And I said, you know what? Let me try Dragon Ball Z Legends, the PlayStation 1 game. And I threw it in there and it was like, yeah, it can't recognize the disc. And one of my boys told me, he was like, yeah, they don't play PlayStation 1 games. I was like, okay, that's ridiculous. But whatever. So let me start off by showing you guys my PSP, PlayStation Portable, which I didn't get when it first came out. I actually got this way later. I got this from a friend at work for like $25 with 2 games. And it worked perfectly. I bought so many games. I have so many games for this system right here. It's ridiculous. I mean, it had such great games. The Street Fighter Alpha 3, Max, and just a ridiculous amount of games that I still have. And I actually fired this up the other day. I had to throw the charger in there because the batteries don't really keep a charge anymore. And it's still fun to play. It's still fun. I was sitting at my desk. I was like, all right, this is still a sick system. This was really a really great system that they made, especially when you were able to mod it and add all of those other things onto it. Amazing system. Now, after that, they made an even more amazing system, which was the PS Vita. Now, this is the second version of the Vita, the slim version, which doesn't have the the OLED screen, which a lot of people said the OLED screen was really great and everything. I've never seen it, so I can't really compare it to that one. But far as I know, this one here is amazing also. This is an amazing system that I actually didn't get too long ago. I got this about maybe 6 months ago, after I had took back my first after I took back my my first Nintendo Switch. I said, all right, I need something that gives me remote play to my PlayStation 4 and that looks cool as hell and that's thin and light. Now, unfortunately, they're not really making any new games for it, any new AAA games. There's a lot of games coming out of Japan and things like that, but most of those are Japanese, like it's a lot of RPGs and a lot of those story type games, like where you just watch the story play or whatever. That's not really my type of game. But the games that I do have for it, I love them. I still play it, and it's a really great system. I wish I had got it when it first came out. The only problem that I do have with it, the remote play doesn't work as well as it did before, people are telling me, and also the damn memory card. The memory card for this thing is so expensive, it's outrageous. Even now, you can go on Amazon right now, and the cards are still like $100. This system came out like 6 years ago. Why are the memory cards so expensive? Why, Sony? Why are you doing this to us? There are people that still actually buy PS Vitas, the new colorful ones that are coming out of Japan, and they still have to pay ridiculous amounts of money for the memory card. They switched around the proprietary plug that you needed for the original, but they didn't change the memory cards. And there's nowhere that you can get them that's cheap. It just makes no sense to me. But I'm going on a rant on this because it makes me so angry. But let me go to the next system. The PS2. And yes, that is an original PS2. Not the slim version or the version where it pops up at the top and the thing doesn't come out. No, that's an original PS2. Now, that PS2 I've had since, I don't even know how long ago, but a ridiculously long time. That PS2, like I said with the Nintendo stuff, I always wait for the bundle. So this PS2 was the Gran Turismo version of PS2. I said, all right, it's the Gran Turismo version. I'm going to need to get that. So I got the PS2. I paid, I think, $300 or $400. I don't even know how much it was, but it was a ridiculous amount of money. At the time, it was really expensive. And this PS2, if you notice here, I have the adapter piece on the back to play online play, where you could play, I think it was SOCOM. I think it was SOCOM. If I'm not mistaken, it was SOCOM. And I was playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater online. I think Thug, Tony Hawk Pro Skater Thug or something like that online with that. It was amazing. And it still works. I have a box full of games. I have stacks of games all over the place for this system, and the system still works. There's so many games that I could name. Metal Gear Solid 2, which I know a lot of people didn't like writing. Didn't bother me too much, but whatever. Metal Gear Solid 2, Zone of the Enders 1 and 2, just a ridiculous amount of games. One day I'll make a video about my games that I have for all of these systems, which would probably be like a 5-hour video because I still have all of those games. But let's move on from the PS2. Everybody knows how great the PS2 is. You don't even have to explain it. You just know how wonderful it is. Now, we're going to move on to the other big boy right here, which is the PS3 Slim. The first Slim that they bought out, I think it is. I think it's the first Slim that they had bought out. Now, this one here is my second PS3, because my first PS3 was the Metal Gear Solid Special Edition PS3 that I paid $500 for, and I waited in line at Virgin Megastore in Union Square, New York City, for at least 3 hours because they only had 12 of them in the store. It was the Metal Gear Solid 4 edition. That one had the memory card slots for every type of memory card. It was crazy. You had the little door thing that popped up, and you had a slot for every type of memory card. That system was amazing. But around the same time that the Xboxes, the Xbox 360s were getting that red ring of death thing. The PlayStations were getting the yellow dot of death, whatever the hell it's called. Whatever crap that happened to the systems that made you angry that you paid that much money for that damn system, and now the system ain't working a few years later. So I had the system, I fixed it like twice. I went online, found the soldering stuff, fixed the motherboard, the whole shebang-a-bang, fixed it. It worked. After a while, it just said, you know what? Done. It's not going to work anymore. So that was the Metal Gear Solid Edition. And like I said before, you know, I ain't buying no system unless I'm getting a game. So this slim version came with Uncharted 3. Was it Uncharted 3 or Uncharted 2? I think it was Uncharted 3. Yeah, it came with Uncharted 3, which was the regular system, and they put like a skin over the box to make it the Uncharted 3 version. So, you know, PlayStation 3, I still rock it today. I still rock a lot of the games. I have a lot of the games I haven't beaten. Most of the games that I have for it, I haven't beaten. So this one is still my daily play, along with, you guessed it, the big boy, the PS4. Now, as you see, this is the PS4 Uncharted Edition because it came with Uncharted 4. Got to get those deals. I waited about 2 years, I think a year or two, to get it, and I got it for my actually my wife got it for me on Father's Day. I forgot what year it was. It was a few years ago when Uncharted 4 came out. I love the system. I play it every day. I watch Hulu on there. I watch my Blu-rays. I use both of them for my Blu-rays, but I watch my Blu-rays on there. Everything. That's my daily system. There's probably not a day that I don't cut it on just to cut it on to see what's on there. And especially because the best thing about it is that they made that external hard drive. I got a 4 terabyte hard drive, which I made a video on that. And I got a ridiculous amount of downloaded games and actual games on the system and actual physical games themselves. Because I'm a physical game kind of guy. But I've realized that lately the physical game thing, it takes up a hell of a lot of space. I got boxes and boxes of games that I haven't played in years, and I don't want to throw them away. Don't want to trade them into GameStop because y'all know I'm going to get like 5 cents. Matter of fact, speaking of that, there was a time I went to GameStop and I bought, what's that damn game? Watch Dogs 1. I opened the game inside the store, turned around and was like, you know, maybe I don't want it. Dude said, you know what? The game came out today. You just paid 60. We'll give you 25 for it. I was like, but that's a different story. Oh yeah, and that game sucked. But the PlayStation 4 is my daily game system that I play, along with the Nintendo Switch. Those two I pretty much play every single day. And these are my Sony systems that I have left. And actually, let me tell you guys a little story. That's why I pretty much moved from Nintendo first and went over to Sony. Did you guys know that Sony was supposed to make the disc drive for Nintendo? It was going to be an add-on that was added to the Super Nintendo. When they were going to announce it, the day they were going to announce it, Nintendo backed out and was like, screw you guys, we're not making a disc drive. We see how bad it worked out for Sega. We're not doing that. Y'all can go to hell. And this is after Sony had already made it, had it going and everything like that. So what did Sony do? They said, you know what? We're Sony, bro. We're going to go and make our own stuff. So they went and made the PlayStation just to destroy Nintendo. And I'm sorry to say it, they've been bodying Nintendo ever since. The Super Nintendo couldn't compete with the PlayStation. The 64 tried. I mean, Super Mario Ocarina of Time, one of the greatest games ever made. But that's only a few compared to the massive amount of games that Sony has bought out. Just because Nintendo were being jerks and they didn't want to do the deal with Sony, Sony said, screw you guys, we'll make our own stuff. And look at Sony today. Look at Sony video gaming today. It's outrageous. Now, we know the Switch is selling a lot, but Sony is that monster that they actually created. Nintendo actually created the Sony PlayStation. They're the reason why there was a PlayStation to begin with. If you notice, the Sony PlayStation was great and it kind of looked like a Super Nintendo. That's because it was supposed to be an add-on that was added to the Super Nintendo, but they backed out And you know what? To this day, I'm so thankful that they did, because if they didn't, we wouldn't have these great systems, handhelds, and things that we have today. So thanks, Nintendo. And now let's move on to the miscellaneous stuff. All right, everybody, we are now towards the end. I know this video is running a little bit long, but I wanted to make sure that I got all my systems in there. We are now I'm now gonna show you the, not miscellaneous, but they're kind of in a group of their own. So first thing first, a lot of people might not even know what this is, but this is the Sega Genesis Nomad. Yep, this ridiculously big brick of a system is a portable Genesis. Yes, a Genesis. It's really big. It took it took 6 AA batteries, which went into a pack thing that attached to the back here. On the bottom, you had a slot where you could have headphones. You had the volume not rocker, but the volume wheel. You had the brightness. You could turn up the brightness. It was backlit, so it wasn't too bad. Better than that Game Boy. You also had a slot where you could put in an actual second controller from your Genesis that you have at home, which was pretty cool. I mean, when you think about it, it is pretty cool. The top had the little red button here, which turned it off and on. You had a DC in for power. You had an AV out. So basically, this was a Genesis. You could connect this to the television, and you would put full-size Genesis cartridges in the top. The screen is small as hell, but it was cool. It had a really good D-pad if you wanted to play fighting games. You had the 6 buttons for Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. It was pretty cool, man. It cost a lot. I think I got this from I got it a few years after it came out. I got it from Toys R Us, and I was like, I think I begged my mother to buy it for me, and she finally bought it, and I was like, yo, this is the coolest thing ever. Especially at that time, I didn't have a Game Gear, so I was like, all right, I have a lot of Genesis cartridges. I'm gonna get me a Nomad, even though nobody else has one. And till this day, this still works. Matter of fact, everything on this table works. Xbox gives me a little bit of problems, but everything else works pretty fine. So the Nomad was a pretty cool system that did not sell a lot. They put a lot into this to make it. It's really big. Like, if you look at my hands around it, now mind you, I'm a grown man with grown man hands. This thing is huge. It got a lot of thickness here, pause, and it's a pretty cool system for its time. Didn't sell well, didn't do too well, but it was pretty cool. Now, this little bad boy right here. Now, for everybody here in North America, the Game Boy was king. We all know that. We all know the Game Boy was king. Even as cool as the Vita, the PSP, all of those were and how they looked, Nintendo, when it comes to handhelds, they dominate. But at the time of the Game Boy Advance, Neo Geo, SNK, also bought out the Neo Geo Pocket. Now I got this. I might have got this before the Game Boy Advance. I can't remember, or maybe after. They bought out the Neo Geo Pocket. Now this one here, I've had this for so many years, I can't even remember how long. But if you look, there are no scratches on the screen. The system still looks like it's brand new. I wanted to see through one because I thought it was pretty cool. I even still have a game in here. Matter of fact, before I started making this video, I fired this up. I threw 2 AA's in there. The screen actually looked better than the Game Boy Advance. The memory, it had this little battery thing in the back here, which like keeps the memory, and that's dead, so it kept blinking. And what I have in here, which this is one of the biggest reasons why I bought it. This is the Millennium match, which was SNK versus Capcom, on this little pocket system. And it had tag team play, which was insane. It was crazy. And the thing that was so sick was that this system, you could connect through this little connector, you could connect this to the Dreamcast. If you had Dream Match 99, which was like one of the SNK King of Fighter games, it was amazing. because I could never afford a Neo Geo. Shoot, even now I can't afford a Neo Geo. Neo Geo came out in like 1995 or something like that, or maybe 92, and it's still like $1,000, and the games are still like $200 to $300. I went into a retro video game store not too long ago. It's ridiculously expensive. So I said the closest thing I could get to it was a Neo Geo Pocket. And I forgot who I seen had one of these. I don't remember. But when I seen it, I was like, okay, this is cool as hell. And I've had this for a really long time. And I'm planning on keeping it for a really... Matter of fact, let me show you something. I still got the box that it came in when I bought it. You damn Skippy. I still got the box. This box has to be, let me see, what's the date on this? 1999, made in Japan. Yep, the clear one. So that's when I got it, way back. That was about, let's see, that's about 18, 19 years ago. And it's still kicking. Your boy makes sure he keep everything intact. Now, in the back there, as you can see, we got the big boy of the whole group, the VCR of the video game world, the original Fat Boy Xbox system. I mean the first Xbox. Well, actually, no. It's the first Xbox model, but it's the one with the S controllers, the little ones, not them big Mac ones that you play Halo with when it first came out, not the big jump-offs. That's an original Xbox. I've had that I got that for my birthday. I don't know what year it was, 2002, something like that. But when I got it, I think I already had a PS2. And I was like, all right, let me get an Xbox because I want to play Ninja Gaiden, which to this day I still haven't beat that game because it's hard as hell. But the Xbox is pretty cool. The coolest thing about the Xbox is that it had that unlimited hard drive, even though I still bought a memory card that I never opened. Why I bought it, I have no idea. But I got a box full of games for that too. Knights of the Old Republic, Part 1 and 2, Ninja Gaiden, Conker's Bad Fur Day. They had quite a few games. Halo 2, Halo 1. They had quite a few games that were good on there. But I didn't play it too much. And now the hard drive is kind of messing up a little bit. So I had to throw it in there because it is one of the consoles that I still own. But it was a pretty cool console for its time. You know, it was the Xbox. I never got the 360. I didn't get the Xbox One. Matter of fact, I did buy an Xbox One about 2 months ago from Best Buy. I bought it home, left it in the bag, took it back later that day because I was like, what? Why the hell did I even buy this? I have no idea. I seen it. It was on sale, whatever. I said, let me cop it. My wife was like, why'd you buy that dumb crap? I said the same thing to myself. Why the hell did I buy it? Got back in the car, took it back. Said I got the PS4. That's all I need. So that's my story with the Xbox. You know, it's the Xbox. What you gonna do? Now I saved the best for last. The best in my opinion. Out of everything that's on this table, out of the Sony camp, and out of the Nintendo camp and the miscellaneous camp, my favorite system of all time. I mean, when it comes down to, if I had drums, I'd have the drum roll going. My favorite system of all time is my Sega Dreamcast. And I ain't gonna lie, I don't care what comes out that would come out from here till the end of time. This will always be, what's in there? Crazy Taxi 2. This will always be my favorite system of all time. One of the biggest, it has a special place in a brother's heart. It just does, because it was one of those systems where I was like, all right, I'm going to get this. It was, remember when it came out, it was $99.99. It was $200. The system was it came out on $99.99 and it was $199. I was working at McDonald's. Now, mind you, this was in 1999, so I was making $4.25 an hour. I saved up my money to get this system here. When I got this system, I got it in Brooklyn, where I lived at the time. My aunt went with me because I said, all right, if I bring my aunt, I'm going to be able to get a memory card, a different game, all of that. All I had enough for was the actual system itself. So I brought my aunt with me. She got me Sonic Adventure. She got me Blue Stinger. I got I got a memory, a VMU with it. I got an extra controller, the whole shebang bang. I was like, I'm the man, son. So I got home, Rushed home. You know that anxiety when you get something new and you can't help it. You just want to open it up. Got home, turned on Sonic. It was the greatest feeling. Till this day, it's still one of the greatest video game feelings I've ever had playing a video game. When I turned that on and I got that Dreamcast, I was like, this is what it's about right here. And I know a lot of people hated on the Dreamcast because it didn't have as many games. It didn't last as long. But to me, out of every system I've ever played, and I swear I've had a lot of systems. Actually, my first video game system was a Gemini system I got from my cousin. And then I got a Sega Master System for Christmas 1988. This right here is my favorite system that was ever made. Now, this one is actually my second Dreamcast because unfortunately, my first Dreamcast was stolen. Somebody came in my house and stole it. And what I did, because I knew that the Dreamcasts themselves it was a system that a lot of people were saying that it was breaking, but those were the ones that said it was made in Indonesia or made in China. So when I got the first one, I searched for one that said on the box, and I got it from not GameStop, I got it from Electronic Boutique. I searched and said, all right, I need to get the one that says made in Japan on it. I got that one. I was golden. Somebody stole it. Now, because somebody stole that one, my aunt said, oh, hell no. We gonna have to get another one. She bought me another one. Greatest aunt ever. She bought me another one. And I said, we got to get the one that's made in Japan. So we searched around. And what I did, and now this is all these years later. If you notice, if I can pull that in and it zooms in, what does that say right there? Let's see. Made in Japan. And mind you, this is 19 years later. I could turn this system on right now and it works like I just got it and took it out the box. Greatest system ever made. As a matter of fact, I think I have bought every Dreamcast game. Soul Calibur, Shenmue, Sonic Adventure, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which I just played the other day. Marvel vs. Capcom 1, don't got that one, but I wanted to get it. Power Stone 1 and 2, Tokyo Extreme Racer, I think Ridge Racer was on that, Blue Stinger, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, where you could feel your heart beating faster when you played the game. What other games? It's just so many. Crazy Taxi 2, which is inside the system. I had every game for that system. And till this day, that is my greatest system that I've ever had. Even the systems that I don't have up here, which is my Genesis, my Super Nintendo, my Master System, my Gemini system, my Atari 2600, all of those that I don't have anymore, with everything here, even with the portability of the Switch and the Vitas and all that other crap, the Dreamcast. That's my favorite system right there. And I just want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know this is a really long one, but I wanted to make sure that I went through all of the systems that I have and how I got the systems and things like that. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, and give me that thumbs up. And definitely, anybody who you know that loves video games like I do, or even yourself, let me know in the comments what systems you have, what stories went along with the systems that you bought, and just keep on gaming, because they're going to make these systems even more and more powerful. And you just have to remember that powerful doesn't always mean great, because like I said, this bad boy right here, that's my favorite, and it's not even as powerful as probably the Vita, but it's still one of my favorite. So thank you guys, keep on watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.